Hey, what do you say, fellow baseball way of lifers? How's everybody doing? Happy Monday night. Is your head still going up and down from watching all the college basketball this weekend? If so, we're here to talk some baseball. And today we're continuing our 30 teams in 30 days. And on board, we got the Toronto Blue Jays as our spotlighted team. Uh, Blue Jays are going to be exciting. I compare them to the San Diego Padres. Even call them the San Diego Padres, the American League. They're ready to rock and roll. Going out and getting George Springer and Marcus Semien and Kirby Yates. They look like they're here to play this year. And I expect big things from the Blue Jays. And if they're not going to make the playoffs, they're still going to be one hell of an exciting team to watch. You would go out and you get George Springer for 6 years for $150 million. You're ready to play ball. And Marcus Semien was a great pickup. I've always been a fan of his. I know he's slumped a little bit the last 2 years. The amazing thing is he probably won't even be the shortstop, even though he was one of the best shortstops in the American League. So they're probably going to go with Bo Bichette, but Semien is so talented that versatile. He could play second base. So that's going to be quite an infield they're going to have there with Semien. And I love it. I love that infield. I mean, is it wrong of me to say sexy? But it's just going to be fun to watch with Guerrero, Biggio, Bichette, and Semien in the infield. Great athletes, great hitters. I mean, it's just going to be fun. I don't know if the Blue Jay fans are going to be able to see the Blue Jays in Toronto this year. That remains to be seen with the whole COVID situation. But I know they're starting a few homestands in Florida in their spring training complex and probably moving to Buffalo. But they're going to be a fun team to watch. So TV ratings should be up in Toronto if you can't make it to the ballpark because they're going to be a fun team to watch. And I always love Hyun-Jin Ryu as the ace of the staff. I mean, he flies under the radar. You put his last 3 years together, he stands up against anybody as far as the starting pitcher is concerned. And they're well-rounded in the starting pitching department. In the past year or so, they've brought up Nate Pearson, who unfortunately is hurt right now, so he'll probably start the season on the disabled list. But getting Ross Stripling and Robbie Ray last year near the trade deadline, those were fantastic pickups. And not only were they looking towards 2020, they're looking for these guys to fit the role in 2021. And I've always been a big fan of Steve Matz, but last year his head just wasn't in place with New York. So I think the change of scenery may do him well, and you never, ever, ever give up on a lefty. So I have high hopes for Matz bouncing back. And if all these guys can actually, I'm not even going to say go beyond their expectations, but live up to their expectations of what they can be when they're healthy and on their game, Blue Jays are going to be okay in the pitching department. And the outfield of Springer, Gurriel, and Hernandez, as good as it gets. I don't even think a lot of people realize how good Teoscar Hernandez is. I think he was even a Silver Slugger Award winner last year. And that outfield can hit and hit with power. So I think the only really weakness for the Blue Jays is that catcher. And the bullpen may be a little suspect until Kirby Yates comes back from his injury. But still, the bullpen's deep, and they just got to figure out who's going to fit where. And before we do the whole roster breakdown, let's just go back and recap the Toronto Blue Jays in baseball history. They're an expansion franchise established in 1977 with the Seattle Mariners. They played their games originally at Exhibition Stadium. Now, I was never there, but I heard horror stories about it, sort of like Jerry Park. These parks weren't really built for Major League Baseball, but they filled the need until the Sky Dome came about. And when the Sky Dome opened, it more or less coincided with the Blue Jays doing very, very well. And it just took off. I mean, the Blue Jays were one of the hottest tickets in baseball. They're filling the dome every night, and they just had a great run. And since 2000, they've been owned by the Rogers Communications, and they're one of the few teams that's actually owned by a corporation. I think the Atlanta Braves are the other one. And when the Rogers Communications bought the Blue Jays, they changed the Sky Dome's name to the Rogers Center. So us old timers still like to call it the Sky Dome, I guess, but it technically is the Rogers Center now. And like I said, from 85 to 93, just in that transition period from Exhibition Stadium to the Sky Dome, the Blue Jays were rocking the American League East. They were probably the best team in the American League East during that period, as they won 5 division championships in 9 seasons and 3 consecutive ones from 91 to 93. And who will ever forget their back-to-back World Series championships in 1992 and 93. And they had a very good core leading the way with Hall of Famer Roberto Alomar. I mean, he was as good as it got when for his Blue Jay career. He was fantastic. I know he tailed off when he went to another team like the Mets, and he was never the same. But when he was with the Blue Jays, he was the man. And they also had Joe Carter, John Olerud, and John Olerud flies under the radar. Not only was he great, he was one of the best hitters, period, during his playing days. And a great first baseman. And I just love John Olerud, a solid hitter. And I always admired him. And I just think because he was so low-key and playing in Canada, he just didn't get the publicity he deserved. And that happens with a lot of these guys who play in Canada, like Roberto Alomar and Olerud and Devon White. White was one of the great all-around players, too, while he was in the game. And, again, you ask someone today about Devon White, what his career was about, and people actually have to scratch their heads to try to remember him. Yet he was such a prominent part of those Toronto teams. So I think it's the Canadian stigma, but the Blue Jays, they were as good as, like I said, in that 10-year period as the Yankees and Red Sox were afterwards. So I'll never forget the Blue Jays, and it was exciting baseball. And I know Canada can support a baseball team like the Blue Jays just due to the fact that they were drawing $4 million a year. They were the bomb back then. Now going into 2021, it's a solid lineup, and it's almost like must-see TV. Like you're going to have appointment TV with the Blue Jays this year, especially when they're playing good teams, because they are going to be entertaining. Anytime you can get George Springer, your entertainment value just skyrockets. The man is exciting at the plate, on the base paths, and the outfield, and he'll be the leadoff hitter in center field, followed by Marcus Semien. Like I said, Simeon's going to be the second baseman. He will not even be the shortstop, even though he's considered one of the best shortstops in the game. That's as of now. But I think Semien will remain at second base, and he is solid. I mean, I know it's a one-year deal, and they're paying, $19 million for him, but it's a great pickup. And if the Blue Jays are going to make their move this year, he's the man to have in there. And Bo Bichette, they have high hopes for, not only as a shortstop, but as a pure hitter. I know a lot of people love Guerrero, and but some are even saying Bichette is the best pure hitter on that team. So we shall see, and they're putting him in the number 3 hole where the best pure hitter usually goes. And Teoscar Hernandez in right field, my God, you talk about a guy flying under the radar. This guy was a silver slugger, just did it all in right field, and he could probably walk down the streets of any American city and people won't even know who he is. But he is that good. I love him, and right behind him is Vladimir Guerrero. Now, he's probably the sexiest of them all and very recognizable. Well, he had a few pounds on him before he lost weight, and he lost about 40 pounds this offseason. But Vladimir is, well, being Vladimir Sr.'s son doesn't hurt, but his image, he's almost like a poster boy for the Blue Jays, and he's one of those lovable characters that the baseball world loves. And I think with him slimming down this year, he's going to have a quicker bat and probably even knock out more balls out of the ballpark. Like I said, you start off with Springer, you go with Bichette, Hernandez, Guerrero, and Gurriel batting in the 6th spot. You got guys like between the 5 of them, they'll probably hit maybe 150 home runs, and that's not too shabby. And Cavan Biggio is as good as it comes at third base. Great infielder, and again, he can hit. And Rowdy Tellez is the DH now. lot of people don't know about him, and I really don't know too much. I'm not going to lie to you. I know catching's a weakness with Danny Jansen, so we'll see how that prevails. But 1 through 7, the Blue Jays are as good as any team in baseball, if you ask me. So they're going to be fun to watch. And the bench is, remember Joe Panic? Yeah, Joe Panic. Yeah, Joe Panic. He's with the Blue Jays. And Randall Grichuk, a man who could do it all as a utility man out in the outfield. He'll be coming off the bench and helping the Blue Jays out a lot this year. And as I mentioned, the starting rotation has a lot of potential. Like I said, Hyun-Jin Ryu is one of these guys that year after year, you don't think he's going to do it, but he keeps putting up the numbers. And right now, he could be one of the top 5 pitchers in baseball. I mean, every year he's in the running for the Cy Young Award. It's just that his physical stature, and he just doesn't dominate like other pitchers do, but he gets the job done, and he's a money pitcher. So if he can stay healthy all year, they're anchored by a good number 1 man. And like I said, the Blue Jays were pretty crafty during the offseason, getting Robbie Ray, and during the 2020 deadline, getting Robbie Ray and Ross Stripling. And not only were they looking for that little impetus to get them to the playoffs, which they did during the expanded playoffs last year, but I think they had those guys in mind for this year. I mean, they're quality arms. They're not number 1 guys for sure, but I don't necessarily think you have to have all number 1 guys. You just have to have dependable starters out there. And I think Robbie Ray and Russ Stripling are those guys. And Tanner Roark, if you've been following everything during the offseason, Tanner Roark's numbers are eerily similar to Trevor Bauer, like the last 5 years or so. So we'll see if Tanner can be like a Trevor Bauer this year, because I know Trevor gets all the ink and he was red hot the past 1.5 seasons, but over the long haul, he's got the same numbers as Tanner. And Steven Matz, very, very, very talented left-hander. Just wasn't getting it done with the Mets the last 2 years. I'm not sure what the reason was, and hopefully he is healthy. There's not more to this than what we're being told. But if Matz can come around and give them good innings, that'll be fantastic. Now, I know Nate Pearson starts the season on the DL, and he is a live arm. He has the potential to be an ace, and he has lightning stuff. So I look for him to probably be the second man in the rotation, the second starter. We shall see how he recovers from his injury. And like I said, Kirby Yates is the bullpen ace, but he's going to look like start the season on the injured reserve list. And then the rest of the bullpen, Jordan Romano will probably be the ace until Yates gets back. And then you have Rafael Dolis, a righty, and Tyler Chatwood, a righty. They'll probably be the 2 setup men leading up to Romano and Yates. And David Phelps I like as a righty. He's a good pitcher, and there's a lot of other candidates too, so we'll see how it all filters out by the time opening day comes around. But it should be interesting, without a doubt. And like I said, Nate Pearson and Kirby Yates are going to be on the injured reserve. Now, every team's going to go through injuries, especially coming back from this COVID 2020 season and extending it 162 games in 2021. But we'll see what proceeds from there. And the Blue Jays are pretty loaded. They have 6 players in the top 100 prospects in Major League Baseball, according to Fangraphs. And the best one among them is Austin Martin at shortstop, third base, center field. I guess he can do it all. But he's on the horizon as being a potential regular for the Blue Jays. So the Blue Jays always seem to be able to retool. They've been doing a good job. Front office is doing a great job, and it would not surprise me if everything goes well that this team can give the Yankees a little scare this year. I definitely think this team can win 90 games this year. There's no doubt about that. And with Tampa Bay and the Yankees, the American League East is tough with the top 3. That's why it's almost going to be, despite Boston's great lineup, Baltimore hopefully getting better, but it's going to be tough to crack that top 3 for Boston and Baltimore. And like I said, Tampa Bay, you never give up on. This is going to be a dogfight. I think injuries are going to have a lot to do with who prevails in the long run in that division, but we shall see. But it's going to be fun. It is going to be fun. And my prediction is the Blue Jays will be one of the wild card teams this year. Outside shot catching the Yankees and being the first place team, but we shall see. But if you're a Toronto Blue Jay fan or a baseball fan in general, they're going to be a fun team to watch. So check them out this year. So that's it for my review of the Blue Jays for 2021. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, please hit like. If you dislike it, hit dislike. Always feel free to leave comments. I've been getting a lot of good feedback from you guys on these videos. I really appreciate it. Like I said, all these previews and at least one video a day goes up on the Facebook group, Baseball Way of Life. So if you're not a member, please join. And if you're watching this on Facebook group Way of Life, I put up probably almost every day another video or at least a few more videos to complement the video of the day in the group. So feel free to subscribe. Now you'll be alerted to all the videos that are coming up. And again, I appreciate all your guys' support, both in the group and with these YouTube videos. And you guys rock it. So have a good night. Play ball. And as always, adios.